So it's the final university advice thing of this year, this academic year, because obviously it's now June and I finished uni 3 weeks ago. Ish. And it's time to move out of this place into our house that we're living in next year. But I couldn't leave without doing a review on this place because I know definitely this has been my experience, and there's been one other girl in my flat who's had the exact same experience because obviously we've been in the same flat. And Connor's also lived through this experience with me as well, but then again, other people with this company might have a different experience. So take what I say with a pinch of salt, but I had to review this place because this has been one of the worst places I've ever lived at. Last year I lived with Liberty Living in Liberty Bridge, which is right opposite the university I'm at, and not many people really complained about them. There were a few bits and pieces about them, but until I came here I realised how lucky I was. But this building is brand new. Did I say this was a student housing company? Oh, this is a student housing company. They built this new building for Cardiff. This is their first Cardiff base.
Arofan House.
Called Arofan House. The first problem I didn't realise I'd have a problem with until I got here was the application process. When we went through Liberty Living, you got the choice of being in a loud flat or a quiet flat or all girl, all boy, and I feel as if one of my flatmates kind of would have wanted that, seeing as he's the only boy in a group of girls, which I kind of feel sorry for him, with long hair getting everywhere. Also, it meant that I ended up with a group of girls who loved to go out, and they were going out almost every other night and not coming back till 4 AM, which meant that me and one of the other girls has struggled a lot with trying to get to sleep on time and keeping a proper sleeping pattern, which obviously meant that some days we missed university altogether because we just were so shattered that we weren't able to get up in the morning. And trust me, I tried earplugs, it didn't work. That was the thing. If during the application process they had that ability to say that we wanted to be in a flat with quiet people, then we would have been able to, but they didn't give us that option. The next problem that I got pretty annoyed with is the mail/postal system. When we were in Liberty Bridge, as soon as we got a parcel, we got an email saying that we got a parcel and told to come pick it up. But here, they didn't email you at all if you got a parcel. You had to go down to the front desk every day if you were expecting one, or even if you weren't expecting one. My birthday was in October, my parents could have sent me a surprise present and I wouldn't have known about it. So you had to go down every day to check the parcel list to see if you'd possibly been sent a parcel, and then within about a week they would send it back again, and they wouldn't have told you that you'd had it, so there may have been a parcel that you'd received and never even got. I feel as if that was kind of a little bit unprofessional, to be honest, because it's unfair on us. Another thing that we had a problem with was the fact that when we moved into this building, it hadn't actually been fully finished being built yet. There are things that need to be added, like the red board behind me, that's a pin board. I was meant to have two. When I arrived there were none, and they came in, put one board in opposite me, so behind the camera. They put it up poorly, but not only that, they came back a few days later, took that one down and put these two ones up, and the one that is on the wall there now, behind the camera, they've used what's called poly cement to stick it to the wall along with nails. And unfortunately, while it was being put in, it bowed, so one of the corners has come out and the poly cement has stretched and solidified in a stretch thing, so it won't even push back in. So you'd have to take the entire thing off the wall again, take the poly cement off and then put it all back again. That wasn't the only problem, it was the fact that they were letting builders come in to do that, and when they were leaving my door unlocked, which, when you're doing, like the degree I'm doing, I've got cameras that are worth a bit of money. I don't want them to be, like, left for people to just walk in and take. And especially seeing as I didn't know my flatmates that well at that point in time, they may well have wanted to come in and nick stuff. And also they had a lot of parties which people could come into my room, and they did. I got woken up at 4 in the morning with two boys coming into my room and using my toilet. That leads me to the other problem, is the fact that there isn't a sensible way of locking my door from the inside. The way you do it is you have to open the door, lock it, and then close the door so that you can still open it from the inside, but from the outside it can't be opened. And it's just stupid. Like sometimes I'd suddenly hear my flatmates get back at 3 in the morning or whatever, and I'll think, damn, I haven't locked my door. So I have to get up, open the door, people are in the hallway noticing me locking the door. And it's just like, well, that's useful and kind of embarrassing as well. I think that happened to me twice, didn't it? People walked into my flat in the middle of the night when I was trying to sleep, and it's just like, that's unfair and it's unsafe, especially for someone of my height and female. Most of the staff were pretty good, to be fair. And I do feel very sorry for the security guards because of the fact that not only are they the security guards, they're the cleaners and the, what do I call them? Maintenance men. There we go. They're the maintenance men as well. They had 3 jobs, and they may have been trained in maintenance, but they weren't necessarily trained as cleaners or as security men, and they were kind of having to do 3 jobs for one person, which is kind of unfair, and it splits their time unfairly as well. Most of them were pretty good, but the front desk people, that was the reason I didn't like to go check my post very often, was because of the fact that the front desk people were sometimes very rude. And not only that, was for 4 months I was on crutches between December and February-ish, round about that point in time. I was on crutches because of my knee. And there's no lifts in this place, so obviously I'm having to go up and down stairs on crutches, which is kind of disconcerting anyway. But I had to go pick up a parcel, which was a proper size parcel, like cardboard box, this big sort of thing. She handed it to me and expected me to walk upstairs carrying it with crutches. And she didn't even look at me, she was just like, yeah, here you go. And no apologies, no nothing. And to be honest, the entire building has like very little disabled access. All of the keypads are at wrong heights and everything. It's just, there's no lifts, no ramps, it's just not a sensible place for someone with a wheelchair or any sort of disability to live. And the building has been built pretty badly. It's almost as if they've kind of got cowboy builders in to do it. The door on my cupboard, when you open that, it opens the drawer below it, and you can't open the drawer below it without opening the door. The handles are on the drawers are stupid because they're only sort of like little dip kind of things that you've got to put your fingers in, and they're not deep enough for your fingers, and it just makes more sense to have a proper grabbing handle on it. The walls are far too thin, and I can't stress that enough, they really are. The stairs kept falling apart quite often. The carpet kept coming up on them. I don't know why it did, but it did. I said about the lock. Oh no, I didn't. I didn't say about the lock. Within a month, the lock on my door had actually broken. The next morning I had to rush down and it's just like, it's broken. And I had to come up and it's like, it's fine, they wouldn't have been, no one's broken in. It's just like, yeah, but still broken, it shouldn't have been broken in the first place. And the other bit about this building is the fact that other than in the stairwells, they have no carpets. Which means that I live in a flat with 1 boy and 5 girls, and all 5 of us have long hair. If you think how much hair falls out every day, and normally a carpet kind of traps that hair until you hoover. Yeah, the solid floors don't do that. I would find the girl who lives at the other end of the flat, her hair in my flat, in my room. It's just kind of disgusting when you find other people's hair everywhere. And also it means that everything's echoey. When I used to live in Liberty Bridge, we had carpets everywhere except the kitchen. And if the lads came back at 4 AM, other than the fact they were always quiet as mice anyway, I didn't even hear them come in because of the fact that the sound just didn't echo. It was quite easy for them to just walk in and I wouldn't have noticed. Oh, and we're not allowed to use the car park. Even though there is a car park, we're not allowed to use it. Which I could understand them charging a little extra for you to use it, but no use at all. Even if you go in there, you're only allowed to stay in there for like 20 minutes to an hour before they kick you back out again. Why put a car park in there anyway if you're not going to let us use it? Especially seeing as there is no parking around here for students. And some students do bring their cars, so if you do come to Cardiff, don't bring your car with you, you don't need it. Another thing they did, which I found kind of rude, was, I know I keep comparing to Liberty Bridge, but this is like, Liberty Bridge is my comparison point. Every month, or was it month or so, they would come in and check our kitchens to make sure we were keeping them clean and things weren't getting broken. And to be honest, they were pretty good. If you had a couple of things drying on the side, they wouldn't bother them at all. If you had a couple of things like, I don't know, a utensil jar out, that wouldn't bother them.
Unless it was a wreck, they didn't.
Yeah, unless it was a complete wreck, and I mean like chairs turned upside down, complete wreck. They didn't really care. And that was great because of the fact, other than when I broke my elbow and all of my washing was still out because I hadn't managed to wash it because obviously I'd broken my elbow, that was the only time I ever got a threat that we needed to clean it. Any other time they were just like, yeah, just take the bin out because you're starting to stink out of the place. But here, not only did they check our kitchens and it had to be meticulously clean, they also said that there should be nothing on the sides, even utensil jars, which is kind of stupid, seeing as they don't give us enough space to store our stuff. But also they came into my room without me knowing, and even if it was like vaguely clean, like most of the stuff was not on the floor, most of it was in the drawers, you'd have to have dusted, mopped, made sure there wasn't any marks anywhere, and even then they'll threaten you with bringing a cleaner in and making you pay for that cleaner. I swear cleaners aren't allowed to pick up other people's stuff. I think it's illegal to do that or something like that, isn't it? It's my room. I should be able to keep my room however I like it. I don't generally put my stuff away very often, but I'm not an absolute slob. I throw my rubbish away. I make sure I have a clean every once in a while. I'm not a complete slob. Even so, one of the girls in our flat, she had pretty much everything clean except for it being a bit dusty, and they still threatened her to have it cleaned by someone else. And it almost seems like this money grabbing exercise where they'll just take your money and not actually clean it or something like that. It just seems such a strange thing to do. And especially seeing as Liberty Bridge didn't even check our rooms. They only came in when we needed maintenance done. Hey, there's Mum! And we're back. That was Dad on the phone talking about picking me up tomorrow. Obviously, I had a really bad time in this flat. Other than two of my flatmates, most of my flatmates were rude to me, pretty bitchy. I think they stole my spoons on regular occasion. I don't know why my spoons. They just didn't have any of their own apparently, and they stole mine. And I'm pretty certain they definitely stole a yogurt, and I'm pretty certain they've taken some of my food at points in time. So I haven't had a brilliant time in this flat. But one of the girls she was struggling as well, she went down to the office to see if there was any chance she could move flats, and they said, oh yeah, there's rooms free in the building, but you're not allowed to move unless you find someone else to take your place. And it was one of those things, if there's a room free, so why can't we move? And especially seeing as they've got signs everywhere saying, if you need any help, just ask and we'll do our best to help you. And then the one thing we do, they're just like, oh, no, we can't do that. And I'm pretty certain they would do it for pretty much everything else as well. Any other problems you had, they'd probably do the exact same thing. Especially when I was having a phone delivered here, and because the account was in my mum's name, it had my mum's name on it, and I emailed them saying, like, look, Mum's panicking, I'm panicking, can you make sure that you don't send it back? Because they're renowned for sending post back that doesn't have the proper address on it or a proper name or all this kind of thing. So they were renowned for that, so I emailed them, and then I didn't hear anything back, and the next morning when it was meant to be arriving, I was just like, did you get my email? Like, yeah, we've told everybody. Then why didn't you tell me you'd got the email? Just seemed so dim. I said they were very, very strict on cleaning, but for the first month and a half, they were very strict on cleaning, but they hadn't provided us with any cleaning equipment. So we had no brooms, no mops, no nothing. We didn't have bins for about a week, and they were expecting us to keep the place clean, and it was just like, you can't be strict on being meticulously clean and then not giving us a blinking cleaning equipment to do it with. And they also don't provide bin bags, which I'm pretty certain in Wales you have to provide bin bags as a case of law. Especially in Liberty Bridge they provided bin bags and said that it was law that you had to do recycling and normal stuff. So, I don't know, they were very strange about it all. Also, they don't give each flat a vacuum cleaner. There's one communal vacuum cleaner and you have to go borrow it, and if someone's got it then obviously you can't have it. And it just seemed like a money-saving tip that they decided they were going to only have the only vacuum cleaner. It's not a small building either, is it? No, it's an absolutely massive building. There's at least 136 flats, and they have at least 6 rooms in. So that's, I can't do maths, but we'll assume a lot. There's a lot of people living in one small place to use only one vacuum cleaner. Oh, the heating. During the winter, I was far too cold, and to be fair, I am pretty much always feeling far too cold. Especially during winter, I really struggle with temperature. I don't know why, I just do. So during winter I was freezing cold and the heating kept turning itself off, which was damned annoying, and it would only go up to 18 degrees, so... But now in the winter...
In the winter?
Sorry, in the summer, now, during the summer, it stays at 30 degrees and doesn't drop anything below that, even with the window open, and now I'm absolutely sweltering, if you can't tell already, because it's warm at the moment. Like, I think I can actually tell you how warm it is at the moment. Let's see. Oh, let's close YouTube, let's not do that. That's oh no, we're alright at the moment, it's about 25. I don't know if that's focusing, but we'll roll with it. That's about 25 degrees in here. And I'm sure it will creep up later, but it always seems to be 30-35 degrees in the middle of the night when you're trying to get some sleep. Especially seeing as last year we had controllable heaters that, like, they're proper radiators that you could control the thermostat on the radiator. And this thermostat doesn't tell you how hot it's getting up to, and obviously it just turns itself off as soon as it reaches that temperature and doesn't maintain that temperature, so it's not actually that useful. They keep putting out, like, important letters. Like, I had one a couple of months back about the fact that on the 14th of July they're requesting to take back ownership of this room. To be honest, they can have it. And a few days ago they gave me one which was how to move out and making sure I had my keys back correctly. And there were stupid spelling mistakes on it. There was, hang on, I actually have the letter here. Right in my paw. I don't know particularly what it's meant to say. I think it's meant to say the Student Housing Company, but instead of saying, it starts as Dear Student, as if it's meant to be addressed to me. I, such and such, confirm that I've returned my key fob and flat to the flat. It's meant to say, Dear the Student Housing Company, I have returned, such and such have returned my... And it's just stupid little mistakes which makes them seem very unprofessional. Like there's, what do you call, posters around the place which have regular spelling and grammar mistakes, especially with which, to be fair, posters you can kind of get away with spelling mistakes because they're not meant to be, so, well, you shouldn't get away with them, but you can kind of give them a little bit of leeway because it's only a poster. But when it's something as important as that and they're making stupid mistakes on it, it's very unprofessional. As I said, I don't know how many people live in this building, but it's a lot. If you think how many letters they must have printed and not realised but there was a glaring mistake on the first line. All we have to do was print one out and realise it and then decide, right, we'll have to start this again. But they didn't. So it seems to be very unprofessional of them. And the final thing was the shower. To be fair, the shower wasn't actually that bad. The only problem with it was the fact that being a weakling, sometimes I couldn't turn the tap on to get the thing started. And if I turned it on, I couldn't turn it back off again. And then I got them in to try and loosen it. They tried loosening it, and to be honest, they just made it worse, which not their fault really. They gave an attempt, and to be honest, I couldn't think of a way of doing it. But yeah, so it's just as bad now. It means I have to get out of the shower every time, get a towel and try and grip it to close it and all this kind of thing. But also is the fact that for some reason under the drain, they have like several different drainage captures, which all back up, and it ends up filling the bottom of the shower to the point where you're almost going to have a bath, and it's just like it's kind of irritating and gross. And I know I've got quite long hair, so that does end up clogging up things pretty quickly. But still, when I was in Liberty Bridge, mine never clogged up at all. It means I have to buy a blinking drain buster every couple of weeks to shove down it to make sure it doesn't keep backing up on me. And I lost my train of thought again. Oh yes, well the key fobs were much better than Liberty Bridge because Liberty Bridge had the cards like you used at hotels, and they broke a lot and
Lost a lot.
Yeah, you lose them every so often, and they're not the greatest things in the world. And also their doors occasionally locked automatically by accident when you left. But I left the room while SpongeBob SquarePants was playing in my room, and I was sat on the floor outside listening to SpongeBob SquarePants on Netflix, which obviously automatically rolls onto the next episode, so I was just there like, great, I'm stuck. Lucky enough, Connor was already out getting the guy to fix it, so. But it was kind of depressing when that happened. And also this place has USB things in the wall, which I do think they run far too high voltage through because I keep getting electric shocks on things, but I think that's just the case with all USB ones that are straight into the wall. I think they all do that. I think they all run too high. Or at least that's what I've been told. Obviously not all of it's the student housing company's fault. They obviously probably didn't know to realise if the builders weren't doing the greatest job in the world, and obviously they can't control the builders. If the builders obviously have been told they have to lock my door every time they leave and all that kind of thing, and obviously they didn't have control over my flatmates. They couldn't foresee my flatmates were going to be stealing my yogurts. So at the end of the day, there should have been stuff in place to stop that from happening, and I haven't had the best time here, and I can't wait to leave. Tomorrow's my last day and I'll be happy to go. But it's a shame because some of the security guards were quite nice, and I'd sit and chat with them, and it's just a shame that I won't get to do that anymore. But I guess you lose some things and you gain others. But that's it for my review. Just remember, take it with a pinch of salt, because obviously the student housing company have buildings all over the country, and some of them are going to be better than others, and you never know, the person on the front desk who was an absolute may get fired, so we can only hope. And obviously your experience may differ, because some people I know had a horrible time at Liberty Bridge last year because they hated their flatmates, whereas whereas I got on very well with my flatmates and I really enjoyed it last year. So just remember, everyone's experience is different, and I hope you all have a wonderful summer. And if you are only just joining university next September, wait around and I've got more advice on the way. Bye.
Changed apart from the colour of your skin.